And caught on camera, a man burglarizing a Salvation Army facility and a car dealership within a mile of each other. Our Brian Burns reports the man was caught by police over the weekend as they say the suspect was trying to break into a church.
It was actually a Salvation Army captain and his wife who saw the burglar trying to break into the church behind me that led to his arrest. Captain Patrick Gessner says he and his wife were watching a surveillance camera feed at home Saturday night when they observed a man trying to break into the church on Buford Street. It turned out to be the same man who broke into the church's pantry twice in the last couple of weeks and who broke into a car dealership at Staples and Buford this weekend.
They were trying to break in for basically a third time. And what happened is they didn't realize we had a security system installed in the building.
Police arrested this man, 36-year-old Richard Cavada, who lives in the neighborhood.
There were reports of a burglary in progress, and when units arrived, they were able to apprehend Richard Cavada.
Upon searching his home, detectives were able to recover items stolen from both the Salvation Army burglaries and the weekend burglary at Keach Motors. Gessner says the community stepped up after the two successful burglaries to help the food pantry.
We had several volunteers from a couple of churches, including our own church, and then also Real Life, and then also a church from San Antonio came and visited us, and 40 people came down here and they cleaned up all the mess.
The volunteers stayed long enough to pack food bags that the Salvation Army will hand out Tuesday morning to needy families. Some 2,000 people depend on the nonprofit for food help every week.
Without the volunteers, that could not have happened. So we are eternally grateful that they came just when we need them.
Police say they had a pretty good idea who it was, but it was the surveillance camera that made all the difference. From the Salvation Army pantry on Buford Street, Brian Burns, 3 News.